What is something you think every human should experience and why? Stargazing out in the countryside where there's no light pollution. On a clear night? Beautiful. Having a non-romantic friend that you can absolutely rely on and be yourself with. One that has your back, can call you out and always only wants the best for you. True friends like that are actually hard to come by and are worth their weight in gold. Flying in an airplane. Seeing the world from a different perspective and traveling to different places. Realizing that you were wrong about some deeply held belief. To live without anxiety, depression and mental illness. A good childhood. Too many people's lives are ruined from not being loved. Watching the Toronto Maple Leafs lose. Especially if you're not a fan. To see what those fans put themselves through will make you feel so better about yourself. And it'll give you many laughs too. Working in retail or a food service job. It definitely helps give perspective on what it feels like to deal with unreasonable people who inflict their bad day on you. Being alone for at least 3 days straight. It lets you indulge in your hobbies. It may sound stupid but scuba diving in the middle of the sea. The minute you dive you feel like grain of sand. You can really feel how tiny your existence is. Traveling to a different country. Get a different perspective on life from people who aren't raised the way you were. The hive mind mentality of small towns in my country are what keeps social progress from being made. I know a guy who lives across the street from the house he grew up in. Parents still live there, and never plans to leave the neighborhood. He's missing so much. Ego death. From my experience, the ego is the collection of what our mind thinks it is, both conscious and unconscious. A mother, a weak man, a respectable church member, a slut, a piece of shit, a loser, the best human being ever, etc. These ideas set a blueprint of how we act, feel and think. We act accordingly to what we think we are. An ego death is the abandonment of those restraints, realizing we are or could be so much more. It's a very freeing experience. The ego reforms, but in a much healthier and deliberate form. Working on retail, so we learn not to be assholes being looked at with true kindness. See the northern lights in action with your own eyes. You will be standing there staring, mouth agape. Shame. Not to a damaging degree, but enough to make everyone think twice before jumping on others. The love of a dog. Because a dog is one of the few things in life, that is exactly what it seems. A long road trip with friends. It's a bonding experience being in a little metal box with a group of friends for hours at a time trying to get somewhere together. You'll drive each other crazy. You'll make each other laugh. It's truly a wonderful experience that I think everyone should have. Work in fast food not because it gives you some experience with fast-paced, low-wage, horribly managed fun. But it gives you the sense that this happens to everyone in retail or fast food. Be nice to the person behind the counter because you've been in their shoes before. World travel. I know it can be expensive, but everyone owes it to themselves to get to see other parts of the world. Experiencing other cultures really puts into perspective how diverse and beautiful the rock we live on is. A good game of D&D. Where everyone is participating, everyone is so into their roles. The DM is strict but not too harsh. It's so magical. Living alone. When no one is there to support you or help you, I think it can unlock most of your potential. You can also learn best survival methods in this society. Riding a motorcycle, swimming in the sea, eating fresh baked bread, hearing music played live, smelling mown grass. Lots of physical blessings we have and take for granted. A dog putting their head on your chest and letting out a big sigh of contentment. I was going to leave my answer and then saw all of the others and how much I haven't experienced, or to have been truly loved. Married at 37 and never felt most of these things that everyone is posting. That, aha, moment when you have an idea that turns out to be effective, correct after previously failing at the task. Travel, even if it's within your own state. Because if it's bad, you'll appreciate your home so much more. If it's good, you will broaden your horizons and take home a bit of inspiration. Either way, it's important to see how other people live in order to learn that the world doesn't revolve around you, and your perspective. Sleep. It feels good. Becoming a decent cook. Man, the luxury of being able to make anything you crave for is fucking amazing. A dogshit minimum wage job. I was a spoiled ass kid growing up. My parents are well off. I was raised to be respectful, humble, never shit on other kids for being poor or anything. But I never really understood the concept of too expensive, or this cost my parents X hours of time. Granted, I never asked for designer clothing or anything nicer than a laptop. And my dad made enough money that the answer was usually an hour or less. But my parents' version of making me earn it was doing chores, and earning that amount of money in the real world would definitely be harder. Summer after my sophomore year of high school, my parents give me 1 week notice that they're cutting me off completely for the summer. Wish they gave me more heads up, but whatever. I managed to find a job as a dishwasher in a retirement home. Paid just under $7 per hour after taxes. It was fucking hell. The dishwashing machine was too loud to talk to anyone. Too many dishes to do to daydream or think about stuff. Basically zero mental stimulation. Time moved at a snail's pace. Hands hurt at the end of every shift from hot dishes and lots of chemicals. And I'd look around at the line cooks and realize, holy shit, this isn't enough for my pot, gas, and cell phone bill. And they're trying to provide for a fucking family on like less than twice as much money. Definitely a huge wake-up call in terms of how blessed I am and how grateful I should be that my parents saved for my college. Also, every job after seemed amazing. $10 per hour after taxes to bus tables? Fucking cakewalk. I get to talk to people, do more than one thing, and make more money. Delivering sandwiches for Jimmy John's for $12 per hour? Dream job. My white-collar job I have now? Heaven compared to that, even though it's stressful. Mine's another sad answer. Significant physical pain. Some people don't seem to understand how pain can reshape your entire world, your view of yourself, and how you think, react. I lived with chronic pain for years. Femoral head ground away most of what was left of my hip socket, and I know I was a very different person then. Love. It's magical. Dancing. With zero inhibitions. Sometimes it's the perfect amount of alcohol, drugs to get you in that space, or being alone, or finding that magical dance partner who makes everyone else disappear, or just the perfect song that drowns everything else out. A good cathartic dance can cure a lot. Lucid dreaming. Going into space. Hunger. It's too easy to dismiss hunger in others if you've not experienced it yourself. Give me money. It feels awesome when I get money, so I presume it's the same for everyone else. Running fast effortlessly. Travel and engagement in a culture that is different from your own. It confronts you with some universal similarities between people, but primarily, the functional and significant differences and values. It can help us to see that different is not always wrong and helps us to examine our own viewpoints and beliefs inherited from our culture. Negative. Ride a bicycle for 3 to 6 months as your only form of transportation. Getting honked or screamed at. Having people pretend to swerve into the bike lane. Getting brake checked or tailgated will go a long way toward understanding how poorly and/or angrily people drive while operating something that will only get scuffed when it sends you to the hospital of the morgue. Positive. A dog or cat who you've known for a short while comes over to you to play with a toy or take a nap. Almost die. It is a strange feeling to sit with afterwards. Knowing someone with a disability. My life completely changed when I became disabled, and it introduced me to some amazing disabled people. You learn a lot about empathy and just how creative and ingenious people can be. You also see how cruel people can be. A breakup. I don't wish it on anyone, but I think it's something you need to experience. A week taking care of a baby and toddler. Just so people can see how it really is. I work with a lot of people who are shocked at how much work it is. Which is fine, but parental regret is a real thing. I think people would be more cautious about birth control if they knew or had experience. Camping. Even if you are a fussy clean freak who loves a 5-star hotel, there is a simplicity of life that everyone should experience. I love it so much. Therapy. Even if you don't think you need it, if you have access to it, you 100% should take advantage and go. It's just a good way to get to know yourself and what you want. I wish it was free for everyone. Everyone should feel love, genuine, undying, unconditional love from the same person you love the same way. It's the most amazing thing in the world. I truly feel like a lot of the world's problems stem from people not being loved. Complete and total heartbreak. Nothing makes you get your shit together and become a more rounded person like someone you thought you'd spend your life with up and leaving. Kindness and understanding. I suffer bad ADHD and work on it every day. My wife will constantly get mad at me for having to ask things twice or not understanding or comprehending something that's said to me. It's a knife in the chest every time I get told, just be better. Like I'm fucking trying to. Embarrassment about something we should be embarrassed about. It helps us to become more humble and empathetic. Washing your ass with water using a bidet. Moving away. Narrow worldviews are some serious progress killers for yourself and for the human species as a whole. Stop making excuses. Move out of your hometown. You might be extremely surprised at how much is out there if you just let go and leave. True sincere love. When I visited Poland, I went on a tour through Auschwitz. I feel like people need to visit because after I felt thankful for every small thing and it's made me much more joyful and thankful about the life I live. I think everyone should travel abroad at least once in their lives. I don't mean Mexico or Canada. They should try going to Europe, Asia, or Africa. It's the best feeling to know that you have gone somewhere further than your home and overseas. Death. Otherwise it's gonna get really overcrowded. Sitting down, shutting up, and paying attention for 5 minutes. True friendship. Best feeling I have had so far in my life. Knowing that you are a part of a group that everyone feels appreciated. It's like a second family. Everyone should work at least one customer service job. So they'll stop acting like that. Being broke as F. Real hunger, real desperation. I grew up very poor but got a scholarship to a ritzy school for college, and a large portion of my classmates had literally never worked or struggled for anything in their lives. They'd never been dependent on another person's kindness for their continued existence, and it showed in their absolute absence of empathy. These were the kinds of college kids who call the cops if they see a homeless person going through a dumpster on campus. It was jarring to me how much basic human compassion they were missing. They've never experienced real hunger, so of course they don't understand digging in the trash for a meal. Being rich literally strips your humanity away. As far as I can tell, there was a reason I transferred out, and it wasn't the price of tuition. Riding in an ambulance without having to feel irresponsible for making a life-saving, necessary decision simply because of how expensive it is to keep yourself alive. You shouldn't have to decide between getting your fucking appendix out or retiring at a normal age. Happiness. Every human should experience happiness in every way. 3 things. 1. Crippling poverty. 2. Service industry employment. 3. One solid beatdown. You know when something bad happens in your life and it just lasts for so long that you lose all your hope. But then something good happens and it just fixes that problem that bothered you a lot? I feel like people should experience this because it makes them realize how life can be hard, but it will never last forever, and that it is important to be humble and patient. I think a comfortable dose of psilocybin in a safe setting would do wonders for a lot of people. Lose a little ego. Appreciate nature much more, and just experience a sense of connection and bliss. Free healthcare. Psychedelics, particularly mushrooms in my opinion. I used to be a shy, anxious kid. Then I did mushrooms a few times in my late teens and early 20s. I swear it changed my life. I had so much fun while tripping, and I think it unlocked something in my brain that allowed me to be more confident and happy ever since. Performing a customer service job for other humans for over 6 months. This will teach some people how to be a customer versus a piece of shit. Some people. Psilocybin mushrooms. Not just to get high, but to experience them with a friend or a group of people who you really care about and be self-reflective. Experience the outdoors and what it's like to be human and figure out your place on this planet. It's really eye-opening, and I think every human should experience it at least once in their life. Finishing Dark Souls 3. Really good head. Metal music. It's not all screaming and satanic worship. Not all metal genres utilize metal screaming. Everyone should give it a chance because it takes a lot of skill to do the highly technical shit metal bands do. The drummers are the most fascinating to me. Metal has the best drummers in the world. Now, getting back to metal screaming, it does take getting used to. When I first heard a song with metal screaming in it, it was a bit jarring, but I hung around for the clean vocals. I got used to the screaming pretty quickly and I've even come to enjoy it. It just becomes another part of the music. The only downside is that you need lyrics for the screaming parts, but then I expect everybody looks at the lyrics of every song they listen to anyway. This is a great excuse for me to drop a link to one of my favorite songs. Down from the Sky. https://www.youtube.com/watch?mark v=wf9w-ygay4 . A Quiet Night Alone. Flight. Honestly, nothing more inspiring to me. The pain everybody dismisses when it happens to others. Having a good sleep schedule, especially as a student. The reason most are so unmotivated is mainly a lack of sleep. Friends can peer pressure you to stay up and play games online, but honestly, make sure you're getting 8 hours. You will notice a difference. For those saying, but I have insomnia, stop drinking caffeine or using nicotine late at night. Cut high amounts of caffeine before 3 p.m. Someone who loves you unconditionally won't enable your poor choices and praises your good ones. Being homeless with no technology to help you. Planting a tree. Own a small business. Everyone should do it. Nothing has fully had me understand my finances like that. Sonder. The feeling that everyone has a life just as vivid and intricate as your own. Good and true friendship. No deceit. No jealousy, just couple of people who are loyal and happy for each other. Being debt-free and livable wage. Thanks for watching. See you later.